Hello and welcome to today's webinar on dashboard collaboration. My name is Tim Lindeman and I'm Vice President of Business Innovation here at Dimensional Insight. Along with my other responsibilities, I'm the product manager for Teamer, our collaboration platform that we have been developing for the past few years, and the technology behind the dashboard collaboration that we will discuss today. I'd like to give a special welcome to those of you who joined us for user conference a few weeks ago, and especially to those who attended my session on dashboard collaboration. Today's webinar will largely be a repeat of what we discussed at user conference, using some different examples. If you have any questions at any point in this webinar, please submit your question using the questions pane in GoToWebinar's control panel. At the end of the presentation, I will take a few moments to go through your questions and try my best to answer them. So let me start off by answering the question, why collaborative BI? There are a lot of reasons for why it makes sense to add collaboration functionality to business intelligence so that users can communicate and work together without leaving their dashboards and reports. Here are a few use cases that we're focusing on here at Dimensional Insight. The first use case is data governance. This use case is particularly important for organizations with complex business rules and multiple data sources. We want to empower our users to ask questions about measure definitions, as well as to address data quality concerns within our system while they're looking at the data. We also would like our users to be able to collaborate about content development. Content that they would like to see in dashboards, content that they'd like to see in reports. And we'd also like our developers to be able to collaborate with each other and even with staff from Dimensional Insight to develop richer content. And perhaps the greatest benefit for collaboration within business intelligence is to support performance improvement. We want our users to be able to communicate about trends they see, alert other users, and collaborate to act in ways that will improve performance. We see collaboration as being an important tool for actionable business intelligence. Rather than talking more about this, I'd like to give you a demonstration of our new version of DivePort that includes dashboard collaboration. So let me hop on over to Chrome here, and I'm going to log in as Jim Graham, Vice President of our demo customer, Ohio Extraordinary Wellness. So I'm putting in his username and password. And now what you can see is the main menu of our hospital operations knowledge base. This is the starting point that many of our hospital customers use when they start working with Dimensional Insight. Each of the buttons brings you to a different part of the system. Many of the buttons, such as Executive Dashboard, Current, Inpatient, and others, open up dashboards and reports. We also have a button for Measure Dictionary, where we can collaborate on data governance, as well as a button for Recent Collaboration, which we'll discuss a little bit later. Let's start by taking a look at how DivePort supports governance collaboration by clicking on Measure Dictionary. The Measure Dictionary contains a categorized list of all of the measures that are in this system. In this case, the measures listed here are all part of the hospital operations knowledge base. By clicking on any measure, such as average OP charges per visit, and then on definition, you can choose to go to the measure definition page. The measure definition page displays all of the background information for the measure, including its definition, its business logic, and calculations and filters used. The left pane also shows any references used in defining the measure and other details such as category and good direction. We will be adding to this information as we continue to expand the functionality of the knowledge bases. The measures definition page also gives you the ability to look at associated quick views, summaries, dimensions, and even to do some analysis to see how this measure is performing, broken down by various dimensions. You can also take a look at the composition of the measure, which shows a visual display of all the business rules that make up or are related to the measure. At the top of the screen, you have a few indicators showing you the recent performance of the measure that you're looking at, and you can click on either of these as well to bring up an analysis. Of special interest to us today is the collaboration pane on the right side of the page. Now that you have gained all of the context you need from viewing all the other information on the page, you might have some questions or suggestions for changes to the measure definition. You might also have uncovered some data integrity problems. The left side of the collaboration pane shows any topics related to this measure that people on your team are already collaborating on. For example, we see here that there is already a collaboration underway about the measure not matching the finance report. We can participate in this discussion by clicking on the New Note button at the top of the pane, or we can create a different topic related to this measure. For instance, after looking through the list of dimensions for this measure, I realized that it is missing a dimension that is important for my analysis. I can add the topic employer dimension needed, and I can even type in some Diveport users that I want to notify about this. And in this case, I want to add Art Murphy, our data analyst, and Sue Smith, our operations manager. I can then type in my note and click Post. The left side of the collaboration panel now displays the new topic, and I can edit at a later date or close it when it's finished. To give you an idea of what the recipient of a note from Diveport sees, I'm going to log off, and then I'm going to open another tab in my browser that has Art Murphy's Gmail account. And I'm just going to go back to his inbox here, and I'm going to refresh the view. And you can see at the top of his list is a message from Jim Graham displaying the topic and the measure Jim typed his note in. Let's click on the message and see what it says. In the body of the email, you can see who wrote the message, who was notified, and what the message was. You can either reply to the message by clicking on this button, or you can click on View on Measure Factory to open up the measure and see the context before typing your response. When you click on this link, your browser will bring you to the Diveport login page. And here I'm going to log in as Art Murphy. And after I enter my password, it brings me directly to the average OP charges per visit activity where Jim entered his message. After I've reviewed the context that I need to understand, in this case, I probably would click on the number of dimensions and take a look at the dimension list already there, and to see what other dimensions that might be needed, or if Jim's suggestion is a valid one. I can click to respond to his message by clicking on the New Note button. And here, when I do this, you can see that Jim and Sue are already added to the notify list. If I want, I can remove either one of them, or I can bring in more people to the conversation. In this case, I'm going to bring in George Deely from Dimensional Insight, who is the consultant working with us on the project, so that he can see the request and help us out. So my message here is, no problem, Jim. I'm adding George Deely to this topic so that he can give us a hand. And after I post the message, George will get an email as well, and he can start working on implementing and report on his progress when he gets done. Now let's go back to the home page and take a look at another use case for collaboration in Diveport, which is collaboration on dashboards. I'm going to click on the Executive Dashboard button to open the Executive Dashboard. This page shows a large number of measures in a graphical format. There are 4 main groups of measures: operations, financial, outcomes, and chronic disease populations. You'll notice that under financial is average OP charges per visit, which is the measure we were just collaborating on. You can click the measure to display the most recent performance data on the right side, and you can then click on the I button to display much of the same information that we were looking at in the measure dictionary. This is a shortcut that dashboard users can take if they want to learn more about the measure without going to the measure dictionary. But let's take a look at another measure. This measure is total admissions. And you'll notice here that our hospital is down 5.9% year to date versus last year to date, and it's in the red. This might alert some users to try to take action to improve the performance of the measure. To start collaborating on any measure, click the Collaboration button at the bottom of the page. And DivePort displays a list of all of the measures on the page, as well as an indicator showing how many topics have been created for each measure. You can also click on the measure column header here, and to sort the measures and make the measure you're looking for easier to find. In this case, I'm looking for total admissions, which is right here, and I'll click on it. For this measure, there aren't any topics created yet, so I'm going to add a new topic, and I'm going to call it Investigating Decline in Total Admissions. And again, I'm going to add Sue Smith to this one, our operations manager, because I'm interested in working with her on the investigation. And for the note, I'm going to type in, Sue, have you noticed that total admissions has dipped into the red? Perhaps we should start investigating to see what the cause of the problem might be. If I wanted to, I could have also taken a screenshot and attached it to the note to help Sue gain context, but I'm just going to go ahead and post it here. Now that I've posted the note, I'm going to log off again, and this time I'm going to log on one more time as Sue Smith. So I put in her username and password, and now I'm in the system. But let's say Sue is a little bit different than Art, and she doesn't check her email all that frequently, but she does come into DivePort frequently. But it's been a while since she's been in, so she wants to know what the most recent collaboration has been. Fortunately, we have a button here called Recent Collaboration that Sue can click to view all of her recent notifications and to see a list of all the measures that she's recently accessed. So the notes side here displays very similar to an email inbox. And at the top, you'll notice is a note from Art Murphy asking her a question about total admissions. She can click on the arrow next to that note, which just turned blue there, which brings her to the total admissions measure definition page. Here, she can review all the context, as well as perform an analysis on the measure performance. After clicking the analysis button, you can see which admit locations are underperforming. She can also switch this to a different dimension, such as ED provider, and see how these are doing. And after she's gone through this and she thinks that she understands what the cause is for the underperformance, then she can go in, she can click on the new note button and add a note and provide Art with her explanation. So that was a brief demonstration of our dashboard collaboration functionality. The measure dictionary, recent collaboration, and email integration functionality is all included with our knowledge bases. The measure dashboard collaboration functionality is an optional add-in, and we also offer the complete teamer collaboration platform, in case that you're collaborating on more than just measures and data. In review, Measure Dictionary collaboration enables users to view a measure, metadata, and performance data, providing the context to collaborate on any number of topics, for example, on measure definition, data quality, and associated content, such as quick view summaries and dimensions. The recent collaboration page makes it easy for users to see their notifications in an inbox-style view and gives access to most recent measures. The system also provides email integration for users who may not access the system frequently or who just want to participate on the go. And the optional dashboard collaboration makes it possible to engage in performance-related collaboration, making your dashboards more actionable. All of this functionality is based on the full Teamer collaboration platform that Dimensional Insight has been developing over the last 5 years. Teamer is a robust, feature-rich collaboration environment aimed for businesses that are serious about collaboration for performance improvement. We use Teamer at Dimensional Insight as our primary means of communication, as well as to manage many of our projects. You can see from this screenshot how we use Teamer to collaborate on everything that went into our annual DIUC user conference, from the registration, to the surveys, to the training content, to the event presentations. This effort involved upwards of 50 employees and took months of collaboration to pull it off. Over the years, we have become much more efficient using Teamer to collaborate on projects like this. This last slide illustrates how Teamer works together with DivePort to provide you with collaborative BI capabilities. Today, we took a look at the Measure Dictionary and the Measure Factory dashboard collaboration functionality that we have already developed. This is currently part of our product. Please let us know if you are interested in using this functionality as part of Dimensional Insight's knowledge bases. We do require that you are using Measure Factory and that you're on Diver Platform 7.0. We're also in the process of expanding the functionality to include collaboration for standard dashboards and reports. This will help us expand usage to customers outside of healthcare who may not use Measure Factory. In an upcoming release, DivePort customers will be able to collaborate on dimension values, such as particular customers, products, or salespeople. And we're also working on bringing collaboration to DiveTab so that you can access collaboration data on the go. Teamer underlies all of this functionality, and the collaboration coming from your dashboards and measure dictionaries can also be accessed via the full collaboration platform. Data from the Teamer database is also an additional data source available to Diver Platform, so you can display collaborative data right back into your reports and dashboards. This concludes our presentation on dashboard collaboration. We appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to participate in this webinar. At this point, I'm going to go through some of the questions that I received during the presentation. All right, the first question I have here is it possible for the system to record exactly what I was looking at when I added a note? And that's a very good question. At this point, the best way to capture what you're looking at the time of the note is to take a screenshot and to post it with the note to provide more context. Now, we're currently working on adding the ability for this to be tracked within the system automatically, so that when you click on adding a new note from a dashboard or from a report, it will track various metadata about where you are in the system. For example, it will be able to track the page that you're on, the quick views, the dive path, and then attach that to the note. So next time another user is viewing that note, they can click on a link that will take them to the exact page that the author was looking at pre-populate the quick views and pre-populate the dive path so that you can see exactly the same information. In the meantime, the screenshot is a good way to do that. Another question I have here is, do the collaboration features have permissions? What if I don't want everyone in the organization to view our discussion about a particular measure's definition? That's another good question, and this functionality is already in the product. We do it in two ways. The first way that we handle permissions is at the functionality level. So when you're at the main page of your knowledge base where you see the various buttons to get into different sections, the recent collaboration button can be disabled for a certain class of users. And this is handled by users and groups. So when you're setting up DivePort users, you can put certain users into a group that will be able to see the collaboration functionality. That also goes with the measure dictionary. You can also set the permissions at the collaborate button level. So where you saw the collaborate button within the dashboard, that's just a portlet, and that also uses our permissions functionality to be able to see that and to use it. So you can set up permissions for the collaboration using the built-in DivePort permission functionality. Another way that we have permissions implemented into collaboration is you can create a public note or a private note. And in the examples that I just showed, all of the notes were public, but there's another button right to the side of that, which enables you to make a private note as well. And when you do a private note, only the people that you notify will be able to see the note that you put in. And there's another question here about what if I want to collaborate on the creation of a new measure or a dashboard. That's also a good question, and this is something that we've thought about, but not something that I demonstrated today. And currently, in the version of the product that we're rolling out this month to our first customer, all of the collaboration requires a measure in the system to begin the collaboration. So you can, if you have a measure in the system, you might want to comment that maybe this measure doesn't address your needs, or maybe the measure needs to be modified, or maybe a new measure needs to be created, but we don't have the ability to collaborate at a higher level. This is something that we're working on, however, and we hope to have this in a product very quickly, and that's the ability to collaborate at the knowledge base level so that you can collaborate on creating a new dashboard, or you can collaborate on creating a new measure, adding new users and stuff like that, all the other aspects of governance that we think our customers are going to want to use. That answers all the questions that I have here in the GoToWebinar system. But in case you have a question, you didn't get a chance to ask it, please feel free to send me an email. My email address is right on the screen, tlindeman@demins.com. Thank you very much for attending today's webinar, and I hope everybody has a great day. Thank you very much.